I'm Drex, and this is Introduction to Poi Spinning with Spinballs. In this video, we're going to cover archer weaves, a variation of the 3-beat weave that puts our hands closely in contact with our shoulders. It involves performing a weave with one arm stretched away from the body and the other even with the shoulder. We call it an archer weave because it resembles the pose archers adopt when they draw their bows to shoot an arrow. The good news is if you've already learned the 3-beat weave, you've already done most of the hard work. Let's start off by getting a feel for how this is going to change the weave for us. Wrap up the poi in your right hand and stick it straight out to your side. Now try our under-over-back exercise from the 3-beat weave video, but do it with your left hand around your right shoulder rather than your right hand. This is going to take some adjustment and likely will mean engaging your right arm back and forth to make sure that your left hand poi can clear it. Now let's do it with both poi. As you're performing the weave, start off by simply pulling your left hand back slightly and doing it around your right elbow. Feels a little weird, but nothing too dramatic, right? Now let's try pulling that left arm back to about your right biceps. This might be where things start to get a little hairy. You'll either need to move your arms a great amount to either side or begin to try and stretch your right arm out as far as it can go. From your perspective, it'll look like that right arm is veering pretty far from side to side, but as far as your audience can tell, this is barely noticeable. Once you can perform a weave with your left arm in this position, try moving it all the way back to your right shoulder. Again, stretch your right arm out and you'll find that you'll have to veer it back and forth to provide enough clearance for your left hand poi. That's totally fine. If you can hold your weave with your right arm outstretched and your left hand at your shoulder, congratulations! This is an archer weave. Just like with the 3-beat weave, we can perform a fountain with the archer weave that wraps all around the body. There are two pieces we'll need to get there though. The first piece is to learn to perform the archer weave in reverse. I'd like you to do this by using the same method we learned for the forwards archer weave, but stick out your left hand and keep your right hand close to your shoulder. Start by performing just the basic pattern of a reverse weave with your right hand going under, over, back around the left shoulder. When this gets to feel comfortable, try performing a reverse weave with your right hand even with your left elbow. Move up to your left biceps and eventually to your left shoulder. Just like with the forward weave, your left arm should be stretched out to the side of your body and will need to veer back and forth to make room for the other poi. Now either drop the poi or wrap them both up for a moment because we've got to work out the mechanics of how we switch from the forwards to a reverse archer weave. Begin on the right side with what should be a forward weave and start with your left hand on top of your right shoulder. Move it around underneath your right shoulder and now move your right hand down, sweeping towards your hips. Your left hand will move along with your right arm until they come to meet, pointing straight down to the ground. Now sweep your left arm straight out to the left side as your right arm traces along it back to your left shoulder. You should wind up with your left arm sticking straight out to the left and your right hand underneath your left armpit. Move the right hand around on top of your left shoulder and begin to sweep that left arm up directly above your head. Trace your right hand along your left arm until the two hands meet, pointing directly up towards the ceiling. Sweep your right arm around towards the right side as the left hand traces down your arm to find your right shoulder, and you should wind up back where you started. Perform this pattern with just your arms and hands to get a feel for it, tracing your arms against each other as you move them around your body. Then you can get the poi involved. Just start off with a forwards archer weave over on your right hand side, and when your left hand winds up underneath your right shoulder, trace them both down and then back up to your right, making sure that the right hand winds up under the left, like so. Start a reverse archer weave over to the left, and then find your rhythm again before moving on. You want to wait until your right hand is on top of your left shoulder, and then trace both hands up and over to come to your right hand side, with your left hand on top of your right shoulder, and then restart the forward archer's weave. Try and do 3 reps of the weave on either side, and then work down to 2, and finally just 1. And you'll find that you're performing a fountain that engages your body in a beautiful fashion. Because one hand is always in direct contact with the body, the move falls under the heading of what we call body tracers. I'll confess, this is by far one of my favorite poi moves. While the 3-beat weave and fountain look cool, this version of these two moves looks absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for watching. Now show us what you can do. Share your photos and videos of your progress with Spinballs.